Criminal case number 131245, People of the Philippines versus for violation of Article 315, Paragraph 2D of the Revised Penal Code, also known as estafa.
Appearances.
Prosecutor appearing for the state, Your Honor.
Attorney for the defense, Your Honor.
Are you ready, Madam Prosecutor?
Ready, Your Honor.
Call your third witness.
Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call our third witness, Ms. Stand.
Swear the witness. So let us now again presume that the witness has been sworn to. Your witness, Madam Prosecutor.
Your Honor, we are offering the testimony of Ms. to identify the accused, to prove that she executed an affidavit of witness, and to identify said affidavit, and lastly, to corroborate the testimony of the prosecution's second witness.
Any comment to the offer, Mr. Defense Counsel?
None, Your Honor. We will cross.
Okay. Proceed, Madam Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Madam Witness, do you remember executing an affidavit in relation to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
If you will see your affidavit, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Witness, I have here a document marked as Exhibit G during the pre-trial, which is the affidavit of... Is this your affidavit?
Yes, ma'am. That is the one.
Now, on the affidavit, in the signature above it, whose name and signature are these?
Mine, ma'am.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit G.
Noted.
Madam Witness, will you please tell to this honorable court where were you on the day of April 20, 2020?
Ma'am, on that date, I was in the Bayan restaurant at KN6 La Trinidad.
So, were you alone at that time?
No, ma'am. I was with
How are you related to them?
they are my cousins, ma'am.
So, what were you doing in the Bayan?
We were with the complainant who was meeting up with the defendant. How did you know the defendant? She's just an acquaintance, and she is the co-worker of my cousin in buying and selling of cars, ma'am.
Okay, so what is the reason why you and your cousins meet?
Defendant. Our cousin, who is the complainant, told us that he is meeting up with the defendant to receive her payment of the car. So did the defendant pay him? Yes, ma'am.
So how did she pay him?
I saw that she handed a BDO check to him.
So after handing over to him a BDO check, what happened next?
Complainant M handed the car keys to D, the defendant, and we accompanied M to the law office of Miss K for the deed of sale.
Okay, thank you, Miss Witness. Your Honor, that is all for our third witness.
Any cross?
No cross, Your Honor.
Any more witness to present?
Yes, Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Miss to stand.
Call the witness. Swear the witness. Your witness, Madam Prosecutor.
Your Honor, we are offering the testimony of Ms. to prove that the check given to the complainant was dishonored for the reason of closed account.
What is her personality that she knows that fact?
This witness is... She's the branch manager of China Bank at KN4 La Trinidad.
The better,
Your Honor.
okay. Because you did not qualify her. Okay. Any comment from to the offer, Mr. Defense Counsel.
Your Honor, we reserve comments for cross-examination, Your Honor.
Okay, proceed, Madam Prosecutor.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Madam Witness, how long have you been working in China Bank?
I have been working.
Objection. The defense counsel did not admit that he is working in the China Bank. So you have no
Sorry, Your
basis
Honor.
to question,
Okay,
to
sorry.
ask that question. Unless the defense counsel would admit that he knows the witness to be working in the China Bank.
Madam Witness, can you tell us what your occupation is?
I am a branch manager of China Bank at KM4 in Trinidad, Vietnam.
And how long have you been working with China Bank?
I have been working in China Bank as a bank manager for 5 years now.
Can you tell to this honorable court the estimated number of dishonored checks per year?
Thousands, ma'am.
And Madam Witness, can you please share with us how a bank dishonors a check?
So when a check is dishonored, the Joy Bank immediately issues a check return memo to the banker of the payee, mentioning the reason of the non-payment. So the payee's banker then gives the dishonored check and the memo to the payee. So the holder or the payee can resubmit the check within 3 months of receipt thereof if he believes it will be honored the second time. However, if the check issuer fails to make a payment, then the payee has the right to prosecute the drawer legally.
Thank you, Madam Witness.
Do you recall having a witness named M?
Yes, ma'am. I heard he came to encash a check on June 15, 2020.
So when your client M presented the check for encashment,
What did you do?
I dishonored the check, ma'am.
Why did you dishonor it?
I dishonored the check because the account was already closed.
Have you issued any documents proving the dishonorment of the check?
Yes, ma'am. I issued a notice of dishonor on April 25, 2020.
And if you will see that document, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I am showing to you a document marked as Exhibit C during the pre-trial as China Bank's Notice of Dishonorment. Is this the document you are pertaining to?
Yes, ma'am. That is a document.
And in this document, I see a name.
Miss K and a signature above it. Is this your name and signature?
Yes, ma'am. That is my name and signature.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit C.
Noted.
Thank you, Madam Witness. Your Honor, that is all for our fourth witness.
Any cross?
No cross, Your Honor.
I thought you have reserved the cross-examination.
No apparent issue on the answers of the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, just a question from the court. No, Madam Witness, you mean the accused here has an account with your bank?
No, sir. He only cashed the check to our bank, sir.
No, you mean Eunice, the one who issued the check, who owns the check?
Sir, we did not issue the check, sir. BDO.
That's right. So BDO check.
Yes, sir.
How would you be able to know that it has a close account when it was issued by another bank?
Um,
Because the check is a BDO bank, right?
yes,
A
sir.
BDO check.
Yes,
You
sir.
are from the what bank?
China Bank, sir. China Bank, sir. Yes, sir.
So the person here went to encash the BDO bank to your bank.
Yes, sir.
And then you made notice of dishonor because of close account.
Yes, sir.
How did you come to know that it has a close account, the one who issued the check?
Sir, because the we had a communication with with BDO, sir.
Oh, so all banks have communication as to their checks.
Yes, sir. Internal communication, sir.
So based on the notice from the BDO that the said account or of the account that issued the check is already closed.
Yes, sir.
Any more, your excuse? Any more witness to present?
Your Honor, we are through with our witnesses.
Okay, are you ready to rest?
Yes, Your Honor, the prosecution now rests its case.
Okay. Okay, I will give an example. We formally offer Exhibit A, check number 123456789, issued by dated blah blah blah. We are offering Exhibit A to prove and show that the accused issued a check in her account, that the check was issued in payment of an obligation, which is the payment of the car. Right?
Formally offering our documentary exhibits as follows. Exhibit A as check number 123456789
Of Miss D.
with account number 987654021 dated June 15, 2020, to prove that the accused is issued a check, and this is issued in payment of an obligation, which is the payment of the Mitsubishi Strada car. Also, Exhibit B as the absolute deed of sale between the parties dated April 22, 2020, to prove that there was an existing transaction or contract of sale between the parties. Exhibit C as China Bank's notice of dishonor, which was received by the respondent on April 25, 2020, to prove that there's really a dishonorment of the check. Exhibit D as the first demand letter dated July 1, 2020, which was personally received by the respondent, to prove that an initial demand letter was sent to the accused. Exhibit E as the final demand letter dated August 25, 2020, to prove that a final demand letter to the defendant was sent. Exhibit F as the complaint affidavit by the complainant himself, to prove that the complainant initiated this complaint. Exhibit G as the affidavit of
Abby.
to prove that she witnessed the accused giving a check to the complainant, as well as Exhibit H as the affidavit
Of Anna.
to prove that the accused really handed a check to the complainant.
Any more?
That is all for the prosecution, Your Honor. The prosecution now rests its case.
Any comment to the documents offered?
Your Honor, we do not object to Exhibit E, A, B, C. Likewise, we do not object with Exhibit D. We object on Exhibit E for being. I'm sorry, Your Honor. We accept. I no objection on Exhibit E. For Exhibit F, we object. The exhibit, Your Honor, is self-serving. Exhibit G and Exhibit G, we no No objection. Likewise, the same with Exhibit H, Your Honor.
So after the offer and the comment, the judge will now make an order at the formal offer. Okay. Now, in making an offer, dapat you state there all your purpose. Okay? Kulang yung mga offer mo in case you will be handling cases in court later. Lahat na ng maisip mong purpose ng Exhibit A, B, C, D, ilagay mo na doon. And it is not written, okay? Because of the continuous trial rule, oral na ngayon ang formal offer in criminal cases unless it is voluminous. I will teach you something also. Now, with regards to all exhibits, if you make an offer, it is better to state and to form part of the oral testimony of whoever testified. If it is the complainant, to form part of the oral testimony of the private complainant, to form part of the oral testimony of the bank representative or the bank manager. Okay? And aside from offering this, I find it important because I have a case that reached the Supreme Court, wherein the Supreme Court gave also appreciation on how the documents were offered. We should include with the admission of the foregoing documentary exhibits and the oral testimonies of our witnesses, the prosecution now formally rests. Ganun, para respectable, maganda yung record. Hindi yung we rest. Parang walang urbanidad. So, you also, although it is not required, but to be safe, you also offer the oral testimony, okay, of the other witnesses. Why? Because sometimes other witnesses that were presented, they do not have any documentary evidence to identify. Okay? Some. So to be safe, you offer their oral testimonies. With regards to the defense, as to the objection, or even also the prosecution on its objection later, if we will use this example, the defense have no objection to Exhibit A, B, C, D, and E. But we object on Exhibit F for being self-serving. My question is, you objected to the Exhibit F as self-serving. You did not object to Exhibit G and H, who witnessed the witnesses in the story being narrated in Exhibit F. Oh my goodness. You also object because you already objected to the document that initiated. So you also object self-serving, and they are not evidence, or they are not material to the issue in this case. Ganun lang. Okay? So, the prosecution now rested. Wala nang writing na ngayon. Okay? Oral na lahat because of the continuous trial. Any questions so far? So now the prosecution has rested. It is now the turn of the defense. Is the defense ready to present its evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we call to the stand?
D.
Okay. Swear the witness. So after the witness has been sworn to, your witness, Mr. Defense Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, with the kind permission of this honorable court, the defense is offering the testimony of
Miss D.
the accused in this case to prove that she did not commit estafa, that she never employed deceit in transacting with the private complainant, that she has sufficient funding or sufficient money for his obligation, and also she will likewise identify documents in all other matters relative to this case, Your Honor.
Any comment, Madam Prosecutor?
None, Your Honor. We reserve a right to cross, Your Honor.
Proceed, Mr. Defense Counsel.
Madam Witness, are you the same
Miss D.
who is the accused in this case?
Yes, sir.
Madam Witness, do you remember executing a counter affidavit in relation to this case?
Yes, sir.
If you will see that counter affidavit, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, sir.
Madam Witness, I have here a document marked as Exhibit 3 during the pre-trial, which is the counter affidavit of what
Miss D.
is this what you are referring to?
Yes, sir. That is the one.
On the counter affidavit is a name and a signature above it. Whose name and signature are these?
It's mine, sir.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit 3, Your Honor.
Noted.
Madam Witness, do you know the complainant?
Mr. M.
Yes, sir.
How are you related to each other, Madam Witness?
Sir, we've been friends for almost a year.
So, yeah. How did you two become friends?
He was introduced to me by my coworker.
Anna.
And what work are you engaged with this Miss?
Anna.
Sir, we are engaged in the buying and selling of motor vehicles.
I can say. So, Madam Witness, do you remember having any business transaction with the complainant?
Objection, Your Honor. The question is leading.
Okay, reform. Sustain.
Have you ever have any dealings with the complainant, Madam Witness?
Yes, sir.
What kind of transaction did you have with the complainant?
Sir, it was a contract of sale of a Mitsubishi Strada vehicle.
Contract of sale of a vehicle. Whose vehicle is this? Strada, Madam Witness?
It is Mr. M's, sir.
Uh, did, did he offer his car for sale to you?
Yes, sir.
And you instantly interested in buying his car?
Yes, sir, because the model of the motor vehicle of Mark is popular among islanders and they are very easy to dispose of. And most of my clients are farmers from Benguet, so they are willing to buy it without even bargaining for a lesser price. So my income there is always guaranteed.
So when
Mr. M.
offered the vehicle to you, you immediately accepted?
No, sir. At first, he offered the car for 500,000, but I tried to negotiate for a lesser amount for 400,000. However, he stood firm for the 500,000 price, so I eventually agreed to it because I found a prospective client who is willing to buy the motor vehicle for a greater price, sir.
How much again is that, Madam Witness?
500,000, sir.
So how did you pay for the vehicle, Madam Witness?
Sir, I gave a BDO check amounting to 500,000.
So did
Mr. D.
accept without reservation?
Yes, sir, he accepted it.
Uh, do you know if the complainant was able to encash the check? If you know.
Sir, I really thought he received the amount, but it is only when I went home to Itogon that
Mr. M.
gave the demand letter stating that the check that I gave was dishonored.
Mm, how again did the complainant inform you that the account was closed, Madam Witness?
Sir,
M.
a demand letter to my uh, housemate, sir.
So you mentioned something about returning to your house in Itogon. Why, Madam Witness, where have you been?
Sir, I went
Faraway land.
and I was stranded there because of the strike of this pandemic, sir.
Um, what was your purpose in
Faraway land.
Madam Witness?
Sir, I was really planning to visit my parents to give them stocks of groceries and medicine because the government announced that there will be a total lockdown the next few weeks.
So how long did you stay,
Faraway land.
Madam Witness?
I think it's about 6 months.
6 months. So while you were,
Faraway land.
did you receive any call or text message from anybody?
No, sir, because the reception of signal in our place is very poor, and I don't receive any messages from anybody, including the complainant, sir.
Okay, Madam Witness, you mentioned a while back also that you only learned about the check being dishonored when you went home to Itogon. So what was your initial when you learned that the check was dishonored?
Sir, I was actually shocked because I honestly thought that I gave the right check to him. So immediately upon knowing that, I informed
M.
through phone call that I have mistakenly given him the wrong check and that I wanted to meet him and make good or replace the said checks.
Can you please clarify to us what do you mean the wrong check, Madam Witness? How is that?
Sir, I previously owned two checking accounts with the BDO bank in Baguio City. However, in the first quarter of this year, I decided to close the other one for me to easily monitor my financial status. I might have mistakenly gave to him the check that was from my closed account. So, since I was rushing at that time to meet the client, um, I mistakenly gave the wrong check.
Uh, that means you did not intentionally give the check from a closed account?
Objection, Your Honor. That is a
Sustained.
leading question.
Sustained. No basis.
Uh, do you have a record of these several accounts under your name, Madam Witness?
Yes, sir. I have a statement of account for my remaining checking account and a passbook for my savings account, sir.
Okay. If you will see these documents, will you be able to identify it, Madam Witness?
Yes, sir.
showing to you a document marked as Exhibit E, Exhibit 1, during the pre-trial as a statement of account of.
Miss D.
Is this the document you are referring to?
Yes, sir, that is the one.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit 1.
Noted.
You also mentioned about the passbook, Madam Witness. If this will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, sir.
I have here a passbook issued by BDO, marked during the pre-trial as Exhibit 2. Is this the passbook you are referring to?
Yes, sir, that is my passport.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit 2.
Noted.
On these accounts that you have, Madam Witness, how much is your overall standing balance?
Sir, my current balance of my checking account is 750,000, and my balance from my savings account is also 750,000. So I have a total of 1,500,000.
Oh. How much again was your obligation to the complainant?
It's only 500,000, sir.
Madam Witness, earlier you mentioned that you called the complainant to offer that you are willing to make good or change the check. What did the complainant say, Madam Witness?
Was there a testimony?
Yeah, yes, sir. Earlier the witness mentioned that he called the
To inform her that
complainant.
he might have mistakenly give the wrong check. There was no testimony that she wanted to change or what do you call palitan yung check-in na issue. There was no testimony on that.
Yes, sir. I will rephrase, Your Honor. Madam Witness, what did the complainant say when you called him?
Sir, he told me that he already filed a case in court and that we will only see each other in court already.
How long have you been in the buy and sale business again, Madam Witness?
It's about 5 years, sir.
In that span of 5 years in the business, Madam Witness, did you receive any formal complaint from your customers?
None, sir, never.
Did anyone return car or ask for a refund?
None so far, sir.
No more question, Your Honor.
Any cross?
Yes, Your Honor, I have a few questions.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Miss D.
You mentioned that you are engaged in the buying and selling of cars. Can you not afford to buy your own car?
Of course, madam, I can afford to buy a car. Actually, in our business of buying and selling cars, we actually own the car before a client will buy it to us.
So why is there a need for you to borrow the complainant's car?
At that time, I have no available unit at hand because I just sold a car to my previous client.
And you mentioned a while back that you were holding 2 checking accounts, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you not bother to look at the check before you gave it to the complainant?
I admit I was careless in giving the check because at that time I was rushing to meet a prospective buyer and he was calling when I was handing the check to Mark.
But unfortunately, you issued a wrong one. Therefore, it can be said that you're in bad faith.
Objection, Your Honor. The
Sustained.
question.
You reform your question.
Miss D.
You mentioned that on the day of the transaction, you have with you the two booklets of checks, and one of which was a check from a closed account. May I know the reason why were you still holding that check?
Yes, madam. I am placing my checks in check booklet in one pouch only, so I carry it with them all the time.
Thank you, Madam Witness. No more questions, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
Uh,
Any redirect?
no redirect, Your Honor.
Just a questions from the court. So, when you were informed that the check was dishonored, did you not offer to pay the 500,000 to the complainant?
I offered to pay, sir. Actually, when I immediately, when they told me that the check was dishonored, I called him, and he, he said that he already filed a case in court that time.
So until now, you did not give the payment?
Sir, I was willing to give, but the complainant is saying that we will just see each other in court.
Mm-hmm. So how did you offer the payment?
Sir, I called him to give the check that has an amount of 750,000.
So you did not talk personally?
Sir, I want to meet him, but he refused, and he keeps on saying that he will meet me in court.
So you are very much willing to pay that 500,000 that
Yes,
you owe the complainant?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did not find ways to deposit it in his name?
Sir, I wanted to issue only the check, sir, covering the full amount of my obligation since
So you only offer a check, not cash?
unfortunately, no, sir.
You are saying that it is now the complainant who refuses to receive your payment.
Yes, Your Honor.
And his reason was because it was already filed in court.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are excused. Any more witness?
Yes, Your Honor. May we call to the stand our second witness, Your Honor, Miss.
Reeves.
Your Honor.
Swear the witness. So, your witness, Mr. Counsel.
Your Honor, the testimony of Miss
Reeves.
the bank manager of BDO Yandok Street City Branch is being offered to prove
Miss D.
has an existing video account that can fully cover the financial obligation of the defendant. Likewise, Your Honor, she will identify documents she issued in relation to this case and likewise testify to other matters related to this case, Your Honor.
Any comment from the prosecutor?
No comment, Your Honor. We reserve our right to cross-examine.
Are you willing to accept that she is the bank manager?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Process. Once there is an admission, no need anymore to ask questions or to establish or to qualify that he is the bank manager. Okay? So, that is why pag nag-offer kayo, sasabihin, any comment. Pag sinabing any comment, you can make an admission. We admit that the witness is a policeman, that he is like this, that he is like this. We only do not admit this following offer. Ganun. so that the testimony will only be limited on the offer that was not admitted. Okay, so proceed, Mr. Defense Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Madam Witness, how long have you been working as the bank manager of BDO City branch in Yandok Street?
Sir, I have been working with the said bank ever since 2010, and I started out as a teller until I became the bank manager last May 2018, sir.
So how do you know the defendant in this case?
Sir, she is a regular client in our branch.
By regular, what do you mean regular, Madam Witness? Again?
Sir, she often comes to our branch to deposit in her account, sir.
Oh, but Madam Witness, you are a bank. Surely there are a lot of people who come in deposit in withdraw in their accounts. Why is that? Why is it that you can recognize her?
Yes, sir, because most of the time her deposit involve large amount of money, sir. That is why I always supervise her deposits. So due to this, she became familiar to me, sir.
You mentioned, Madam Witness, accounts. Is there more than one account for
Miss D.
Yes, sir. Because previously she is maintaining two checking accounts and a savings account, sir. However, on February 2020, she closed the other checking account and consolidated with the remaining active account, sir.
Did you issue or execute a document pertaining
Miss D's.
to accounts?
Yes, sir. I issued her a statement of account and a passbook account, sir.
If those documents will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it, Madam Witness?
Yes, sir.
Madam Witness, I have here with me a document marked as Exhibit 1 during the pre-trial. Is this the document you are referring to?
Yes, sir. That is the statement of account I issued in favor of
Miss D.
On the bottom part of this document appears a name and a signature. Whose name and signature are these, Madam Witness?
It's mine, sir.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit 1, Your Honor.
Noted.
Madam Witness, do you remember executing an affidavit in relation to this case?
Yes, sir. I executed an affidavit of witness.
If that document will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, sir.
I am showing to you now a document marked as Exhibit 4 during the pre-trial as the affidavit of the bank manager of BDO, Yandok Street branch. Is this the document you are referring to?
Yes, sir.
On the last page is a name
Miss Reeves.
and a signature above it. Whose name and signature are these?
Mine, sir.
Your Honor, the witness has identified Exhibit 4, Your Honor.
Noted.
Do you remember receiving or did your office receive any complaints emanating from
Miss D.
the use of her checkbook?
None so far, sir.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Any cross, Madam Prosecutor?
I have a few questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ask your few questions.
Madam Witness, you mentioned that you always supervise the deposits of the accused. Are you the only bank manager of the BDO branch in Yandok Street?
Yes, ma'am. I am only the bank manager of that said branch.
Since
Miss D.
this is already familiar to you, was there any instance when she asked you a favor?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Overruled. May answer.
And no favor asked by
Miss D.
ma'am.
Madam Witness, do you know the work of
Miss D.
Yes, ma'am. She is a businesswoman involved in the buy and sell of vehicles, ma'am.
and Madam Witness, do you have any more transactions with her besides supervising her deposits?
None, ma'am.
Is there any bank protocol that if a client deposits a large amount of money, he or she must automatically be assisted by the bank manager?
No, ma'am.
If that's the case, why do you always supervise her deposits?
So, well,
Your
it's
Honor. Relevant.
Yes, no. May I answer?
It's a coincidence, ma'am, that every time she deposit her in our branch, I'm always the one who is available to assist her, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Witness. I have no more questions, Your Honor.
Why did they not sustain you? Because your offer, sinabi mo na regular, na kilala niya, and then you are objecting na you have these close transactions, Mr. Defense Counsel. Anyway, you are excused, Madam Witness. Any more witness to present?
Thank you.
Your Honor, we know no more witness to present, Your Honor.
So, are you ready to rest your case?
Yes, Your Honor, we are ready.
So, rest your case formally, Mr. Defense Counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. We respectfully offer our evidence as follows, Your Honor. Exhibit 1 is the statement of account
Miss D,
issued by the BDO to prove that the accused indeed has a sufficient amount of money to cover his obligation, Your Honor. And we are offering also Exhibit 2 with the same purpose to prove that the accused has sufficient source to cover her obligation. And we are offering Exhibit 3, the counter affidavit of Eunice Vargas, to prove that she exerted effort in contacting the complainant and offered to pay the said obligation. Exhibit 4, Your Honor, to the affidavit of the manager or representative of BDO, BDO Baguio City Branch, to prove that indeed the accused has a sufficient amount of money to cover her obligation. That is all, Your Honor. We now raise our case.
Any comment, Madam Prosecutor? You're already finished presenting. This case is already submitted for decision, or the prosecution intends to present rebuttal evidence.
No rebuttal, Your Honor.
I'm asking that because that is part of the trial. After the defense rested, or the defendant or the accused rested, you have the right to present a rebuttal. Okay? Even in the civil case, okay, you can present rebuttal evidence. So this case is already submitted for decision, considering that the prosecution do not intend to present any rebuttal evidence. This case is, the promulgation of decision is on May. Ganun yan. Criminal cases, immediately upon resting, the judge will now order or schedule the promulgation. Okay? I-schedule na yung promulgation within the 90-day period. Unlike before, ang sasabihin ng judge, this case is now submitted for decision. Kaya maghihintay ka kahit mamuti na yung mata mo. Now, because of the continuous trial, upon resting the case, the judge will now make an order and indicating now the day of the promulgation. Kaya mabilis na ngayon. That is the effect of the continuous trial. So, order, sasabihin ng judge. And the promulgation of this case is set on kailan nyo gusto? Tatanungin pa. Okay. So, May or June 2021. So, any question? We offer Exhibit A, which is the check found on page. You have to indicate the page. Found on page 10 of the records. Exhibit B, the absolute deed of sale found on page. It is supposed to be the proper offer in criminal cases made orally. Also for the defense, we offer Exhibit 1 found on page 18 of the records. And if you will do that, you will not give the judge a hard headache. You will also help him, guide him. And you are following now the rules under the continuous trial.